The phone shattered the silence of my midnight kitchen like a gunshot, the vibration rattling the Formica counter where I'd left it charging. I was nursing a lukewarm coffee, staring at the peeling wallpaper that had once been my wife's pride. Yellow daisies faded to ghosts. The caller ID flashed St. Mary's R, and my gut twisted before I even answered. "Mr. Harlan, this is Dr. Ramirez. Your daughter Emily, she's here. She's been assaulted. You need to come now." I don't remember hanging up. The drive was a blur of red lights ignored, horns blaring like accusations. When I burst through the ER doors, the antiseptic stench hit me like a wall, mingling with a metallic tang of blood that I could swear was hers. Nurses parted like scared fish as I demanded her room. And there she was, my Emily, 24 and unbreakable, or so I'd thought, propped up in a bed, her face a map of bruises blooming purple and black. One eye swollen shut, lips split like overripe fruit. Tubes snaked from her arm, monitors beeping a steady, mocking rhythm. "Dad," she whispered, her voice cracking like thin ice. I leaned in, my hands trembling as I gripped the bedrail. It was him. The billionaire's son. Marcus Langford. The name landed like a bomb in my chest. Marcus. The golden boy I'd trusted with my daughter's heart. The one who'd waltzed into our lives 2 years ago, all charm and promises, backed by his father's tech empire that could buy half the city. I'd shaken his hand at family dinners, laughed at his jokes, even confided in him about my late wife's battle with cancer. Betrayal didn't just sting. It eviscerated. Fury boiled up, hot and primal, but I choked it down, focusing on her. "Tell me everything, Em. From the start." She winced as she shifted, her good eye filling with tears that carved clean paths through the dried blood on her cheek. "We were at his penthouse, arguing. He'd been different lately. Jealous, controlling. I found messages on his phone. Other women. When I confronted him, he lost it. Grabbed me by the hair, slammed me against the wall. Called me a worthless nobody, who should be grateful for his scraps." Her words hung in the air, each one a knife twisting deeper. I saw it in flashes. His manicured hands turning violent, her pleas echoing off marble floors that cost more than our house. Humiliation washed over me, not just for her but for myself. How had I missed the signs? The late nights she'd come home with red-rimmed eyes, brushing it off as work stress. I'd bought his facade, the way he'd dazzle us with stories of boardrooms and private jets, making me feel like a relic from a simpler time. A retired mechanic with grease-stained hands, dreaming of a better life for my girl. Now, resentment festered like an open wound. Marcus wasn't just an abuser. He was a symbol of everything I'd fought against. Entitled wealth that crushed the little guy without consequence. But obsession crept in quietly that night as I sat by her bed, watching her drift into morphine haze. I fantasized about storming the Langford Tower, fists flying, but reality mocked me. Doubt whispered, what could I do? Call the cops. They'd bury it in lawyers and payoffs. The Langford's own judges, media, the whole damn system. Guilt clawed at my insides. I should have protected her, should have seen through his polished lies. Cold resolve hardened like steel in my veins. This wouldn't end with a hospital bill and forgotten apologies. The next morning, sunlight sliced through the blinds like accusations, illuminating Emily's battered face. She stirred, groaning. "Dad, don't do anything stupid. Promise me." Her voice was small, laced with fear not just for herself, but for me. I forced a smile, but inside, denial warred with truth. "Of course not, kiddo. Just focus on healing." Lies tasted bitter but necessary. As the doctor explained fractured ribs and a concussion, I nodded mechanically, my mind already plotting. Discharged that afternoon, I drove her home to our modest bungalow, the engine's rumble a poor mask for the silence between us. The neighborhood felt smaller, suffocating, kids playing tag on cracked sidewalks, oblivious to the storm brewing. Inside, I tucked her into bed with painkillers and tea, but as she slept, I paced the living room, the carpet worn thin from years of worry. Photos on the mantel mocked me, Emily's graduation, her beaming with Marcus at a gala, me toasting them like a fool. Heartbreak hit in waves, memories of her childhood, pigtails and scraped knees, clashing with this broken woman. Resentment toward Marcus deepened. He'd stolen her light, twisted love into terror. But moral conflict gnawed. Was I any better if I sought vengeance? Fantasies shifted from brute force to something sharper. Ruin him from the shadows, make him feel the helplessness he'd inflicted. That evening, I slipped out while she napped, driving to a dingy bar on the city's edge where shadows clung like old regrets. The air reeked of stale beer and cigarette smoke, the jukebox crooning forgotten blues. I nursed a whiskey, eavesdropping on conversations that hinted at underbelly dealings. A grizzled man at the end of the bar, tattoos snaking up his arms, caught my eye. "You look like a man with a score to settle," he muttered, sliding onto the stool beside me. His name was Vic, an ex-con with eyes like chipped flint. Dialogue flowed haltingly at first. "What's eating you, Pops?" he asked, voice gravelly from too many smokes. "My daughter. Beaten by some rich prick who thinks he's untouchable." The words spilled out, laced with suppressed rage. Vic chuckled darkly. "Langford's kid. Yeah, heard whispers. Boy's got a temper, Daddy's money cleans it up." Tension built as he leaned in, breath sour. "You want payback. I know people. But it ain't clean. Costs more than cash. Your soul, maybe." Doubt flared. Was this me? A father turning vigilante? But obsession won. What would it take? I asked, voice steady despite the fear coiling in my gut. He outlined a plan, subtle at first. Dig into Marcus's secrets, exploit weaknesses. He's got skeletons. Drugs, shady deals. We expose him right, he crumbles. Moral grayness settled like fog. Justified. Perhaps. But the thrill of it scared me. Cold resolve masking the guilt of dragging others into my vendetta. Back home, Emily waited up, her swollen face pale under the lamp's glow. "Where were you?" Suspicion edged her tone. "Just clearing my head." Lie number 2. We ate soup in silence, the clink of spoons amplifying unspoken fears. As she recounted more details. His jealous rages, the isolation. He'd woven like a web, heartbreak swelled. "I loved him, Dad. Thought he loved me." Tears came and I held her, fury simmering beneath comfort. Nights blurred into planning. Alone in my garage, surrounded by rusted tools and oil stains, I pored over online scraps about the Langfords. Marcus's public persona. Philanthropist air, smiling in glossy magazines. But hints emerged. Lawsuits settled quietly, exes vanishing with NDAs. Inner thoughts raced. What if I hacked his world? No, too risky. Instead, I contacted Vic again, our meetings in shadowed alleys building suspense like a tightening noose. One rainy night, thunder rumbling like distant warnings, Vic handed me a folder in a parking lot, wipers slashing the windshield. Dirt on the kid. Embezzlement from Daddy's firm, coke habits. Use it wisely. My hands shook as I flipped through photos. Marcus snorting lines at parties, emails siphoning funds. Power surged through me, but fear followed. What if this backfired? Emily could get hurt worse. Home, I hid the folder under floorboards, guilt twisting like a knife. Emily noticed my distraction. "Dad, you're scaring me. Talk to me. I just want justice, Em." Half-truth. Her eyes searched mine, revealing her own resentment. "He ruined us. But revenge. It changes you." Her words echoed my doubts, but obsession drowned them. Planning intensified. Anonymous tips to media, but subtle leaks that couldn't trace back. Moral conflict peaked in sleepless hours, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Was I avenging or destroying myself? Subtle hints of vengeance emerged. A cryptic email sent from a burner account, attaching a photo. Marcus's phone would buzz, unease creeping in. I imagined his confusion, the first cracks in his armored life. Tension rose, quiet calculation before the storm. Emily healed slowly, bruises fading to yellow ghosts, but scars lingered in her wary glances. One evening, over dinner, she confessed more. "He threatened me, Dad. Said if I left, he'd make sure I never worked again. His father. He knows everyone." Betrayal layered deeper. Not just physical but systemic. Rage flared, but I masked it. "We'll get through this." Inside, resolve crystallized. The pursuit began in earnest. Vic introduced me to Lena, a hacker with piercings and a smirk that hid sharp intellect. In a cluttered apartment reeking of instant noodles and circuit boards, she tapped keys like a pianist. I can breach his emails, plant seeds of doubt in his circle. Dialogue crackled with tension. "But why help?" Asked. "Personal reasons. Langford Sr. screwed my family. Foreclosed our home for his developments. Motivations intertwined, morally complex. No heroes here, just wounded souls seeking balance." As code scrolled on her screen, suspense built. A beep. Access granted. Emails poured in, affairs, bribes, violence covered up. Heart pounding, I selected targets. Send to rivals anonymously. Fear gripped. What if caught? But fantasies of Marcus's fall, humiliated, alone, pushed me forward. Back home, Emily sensed the shift. "Dad, you're different. Colder." Suppressed rage leaked in my clipped responses. "Just tired." Lies piled like debts. One night, a call from an unknown number. Marcus's voice, smooth but edged. "Harlan. Stay out of my business." Shock jolted me. How did he know? Tension skyrocketed, foreshadowing confrontation. I hung up, heart racing. The game was on. Rain lashed the city like punishment, streets glistening under sodium lights as I drove to the rendezvous. Vic's text had been terse. "Warehouse. Got something big." My knuckles whitened on the wheel, inner turmoil churning. Guilt over deceiving Emily, fear of escalation, obsession driving me like a drug. The warehouse loomed, a rusting behemoth on the industrial fringe, wind howling through broken windows like ghosts. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay, fluorescent bulbs flickering like dying stars. Vic waited with Lena, their faces shadowed. "We hit pay dirt," Vic growled, sliding a USB drive across a makeshift table. "Recordings. Marcus beating another girl last year. Daddy hushed it with cash." Lena nodded, her eyes fierce. "I pulled it from their servers. We leak this, he's done." Moral grayness thickened, blackmail, exposure. But resentment fueled me. This was justice, twisted as it was. Dialogue tensed the air. "What if it backfires?" asked voice echoing. Vic shrugged. "Everything does, eventually. But he deserves it." As we planned the drop, anonymous to a journalist with a grudge, suspense coiled. Subtle hints. Marcus's social media silent. Rumors swirling in elite circles. His world cracking, mine hardening. Home, Emily confronted me in the kitchen, the clock ticking like a bomb. "I know you're doing something, Dad. Please." Her voice broke, revealing heartbreak. "I don't want to lose you too." Guilt surged, but cold resolve held. "It's for us, Em." Half-lie. She stormed off, door slamming like finality. Nights blurred into surveillance. From a parked car across from the Langford Tower, a glass monolith piercing the skyline, I watched Marcus enter, flanked by security. His stride faltered, paranoia evident in glanced shoulders. Satisfaction mingled with doubt. Was this revenge or madness? Lena's next move. Digital sabotage. In her lair, screens glowed like eyes. "I'll crash his accounts, expose the embezzlement." Keys clattered, tension building. Alert. "He's on to us." Tracing IPs. Fear spiked. "Abort." "No," she snapped. "Push forward." The leak hit the next day. Headlines screamed. Langford heir accused of assault, fraud. Chaos erupted. Stocks dipped, protesters gathered. I watched from afar, heart pounding, as Marcus's face flashed on news feeds, pale and hunted. But obsession blinded me to consequences. Emily's call came mid-afternoon, voice hysterical. "Dad, they came to the house. Marcus's men. Threatened me if you don't back off." Rage exploded, but horror followed. I'd endangered her. Moral conflict peaked. Abort or double down. Chose pursuit. Meeting Vic in a storm-drenched alley, rain mingling with sweat. "We end this. Confront him." Vic's eyes narrowed. Dangerous. But yeah. The plan. Lure Marcus to a neutral spot, armed with evidence. Foreshadowing twisted. Hidden motives revealed. Vic confessed. "Langford ruined my brother. This is personal." Layered betrayal. Allies with agendas. The confrontation unfolded in an abandoned factory, moonlight filtering through shattered skylights, casting jagged shadows. Wind whistled, carrying the scent of rust and oil. Marcus arrived alone, surprisingly. Arrogance or desperation? He stepped into the dim light, suit rumpled, eyes wild. "Harlan, you pathetic old man. Think you can touch me?" Dialogue crackled with suppressed rage. "You hurt my daughter. Destroyed her." He laughed, bitter. "She was nothing. Boy, you should have taught her her place." Fury ignited, but I held back, revealing the recordings. "It's over, Marcus. The world knows." His facade cracked, resentment flashing. "My father will fix this. Like always." But doubt crept in his voice. Tension peaked as Vic emerged from shadows, gun glinting. "Not this time." Marcus's eyes widened. "You wouldn't." Inner thoughts raced. This wasn't the plan. Vic's hidden motive, revenge for his brother, killed in a Langford cover-up. Chaos erupted. Marcus lunged, a scuffle in the dust-choked air. Gunshot echoed, Marcus crumpling, blood pooling like accusation. Horror froze me. "What have you done?" Vic's face twisted. "Justice." But it was murder. Cold resolve shattered into guilt. Escape blurred. Fleeing into night, rain washing blood from hands. Home, Emily waited, terror in her eyes. "Dad. What happened?" Confession spilled, heartbreak raw. He's dead." Shock then twist. Her face hardened. "Good. He deserved it." Poetic justice. No. Unexpected consequence. Police sirens wailed distant, closing in. My revenge birthed a cycle. Emily's coldness mirroring mine. Family fractured further. As cuffs clicked, doubt eternal. Was betrayal avenged or multiplied? The billionaire's son gone, but the cost, our souls, immeasurable. In the cell's chill, obsession faded to regret. The hook that began it all, a call from the ER, echoed as the end. Betrayal's echo, unending.